Hello, I have a quick project share that I wanted to show you guys, and I'm also going to have a tutorial on how to create both of these. I took the onesie like I made for the album, except for I wanted it just to be a picture frame. I know this is probably going to be hard to see, but both of them have a little kickstand on the back to where you can slide a photo inside and then display it like that. So I'll start out with the little girls. I got the fabric from Walmart. It has some little pink Bambi or deer doe and some little mice all throughout it, and then this top part of the frame is open. You could slide a photo in there. And then I have a chipboard piece of a little heart scrolls that's painted, and then I have a little sticker butterfly, and then of course we have the ribbon and the tulle for the tutu, which is also cute for little girls. And then we have a lot of flowers throughout, mixed. A lot of them are probably Prima, some Recollections, just tucked in around everywhere. And for our little boys album, we have also, I have some fabric that and I got from Walmart, and on him he has some little giraffes and some elephants, and of course we had to do the bow tie and the suspenders. And then I have a couple little buttons. They are panda bears, and on this one, because of the bow tie, you slide your photo in from the side, and then we have a lot of little flowers tucked in from there, and this spray flower collection together from Prima. I thought it looked cute, like little balloons. And then a lot of a lot of Michaels flowers from Michaels inside there. So I thought that was cute, and I will have a video on how to do every step for both of them. So I hope y'all enjoy it. If y'all have any questions, please just send me a message, drop me a comment if you have any questions or you get stuck on anything with any of the tutorials. Thanks for stopping by. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Hello, I have a quick project share that I wanted to show you guys, and I'm also going to have a tutorial on how to create both of these. I took the onesie like I made for the album, except for I wanted it just to be a picture frame. I know this is probably going to be hard to see, but both of them have a little kickstand on the back to where you can slide a photo inside and then display it like that. So I'll start out with the little girls. I got the fabric from Walmart. It has some little pink Bambi or deer doe and some little mice all throughout it, and then this top part of the frame is open. You could slide a photo in there. And then I have a chipboard piece of a little heart scrolls that's painted, and then I have a little sticker butterfly, and then of course we have the ribbon and the tulle for the tutu, which is also cute for little girls. And then we have a lot of flowers throughout, mixed. A lot of them are probably Prima, some Recollections, just tucked in around everywhere. And for our little boys album, we have also, I have some fabric that and I got for Walmart's, and on him he has some little giraffes and some elephants. And of course we had to do the bow tie and the suspenders. And then I have a couple little buttons. They are panda bears. And on this one, because of the bow tie, you slide your photo in from the side. And then we have a lot of little flowers tucked in from there, and this spray flower collection together from Prima. I thought it looked cute, like little balloons. And then a lot of a lot of Michaels, flowers from Michaels inside there. So I thought that was cute, and I will have a video on how to do every step for both of them. So I hope y'all enjoy it. If y'all have any questions, please just send me a message, drop me a comment if you have any questions or you get stuck on anything with any of the tutorials. Thanks for stopping by. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Alright, we are going to start with our onesie frame. I have some that I already had cut out of chipboard. I'm going to try and put a template in the description box below. I have not done that before, so if I cannot, just do what I did and look for printable template onesie online, and then just try and size it and print it out. Now it is chipboard, so it's a little hard to cut around with your X-Acto knife, but do the best that you can. Please be careful. Don't cut yourself. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it is going to be wrapped in fabric. But if you do have some spots that are really annoying you, you can take just a regular fingernail file and work on those little edges if they get to be too bad. Now I know I have a white one and a black one. The color doesn't matter. It's going to be completely covered up. I'm going to do a girl and a boy, and at Walmart's I have these little quarters that you can buy for like 97 cents. So I've got the pink with the white polka dot for the girls, and then they have this cute little fabric with Bambies and some little mice, and I believe that's going to be the top part. And then for the boy, I've got the turquoise with the pink, and then the little giraffes, elephant, and birds that have the matching color. And we're going to do this at the top, and we're going to go ahead and do suspenders again, like my album. Alright, so actually I think I want to go ahead and start with the boys. And I'm going to go ahead and just start with this white. Okay, you are going to need some batting. I've gotten this at Walmart's also. It says 100% polyester quilt batting. It's for lap blankets and crib size projects. So what we're going to do is take our onesie and we're going to lay it out. Wow, this is a brand new roll. It's huge. Okay, here's a spot where the end is, and I'm just gonna kind of roughly cut this out so I can get this big roll out of my way. Okay, take any glue that you have. It really doesn't matter. I use this little glue stick, which it's purple and it'll go clear. And we'll put that all over our onesie. Now when we get to the sewing part of this, I'm going to try my best to get my sewing machine in videotaped. I've never done that before. I'm not sure how this stand works, so we will give it a try. Alright, so I have that stuck down, and I'm going to take my scissors and cut that. So get that all covered up. So I'm going to start with the top. This fabric's so cute. It is quite thin though. So let's see here. This is going to be the shirt, so I'm just going to position it around and try to find a really cute spot in the pattern. We'd like to have a little giraffe. Come on. Now we have our little pants on the bottom, so it doesn't have to go all the way down. I just really want to get this little giraffe. Got a little bit of the elephant. I think that'll be good right there. So I'm just going to do a rough cut. There's the top of my chipboard here. I want to go at least about a half inch to an inch further than that. Let's see what my arm is. You can just flip this over if you want, if you don't have a pattern like I do. It is a lot easier to just flip it over. Oh, come on. Okay. Well, still don't have it. Alright. Get rid of these stragglers. Now, for covering this, we don't want a lot of overage on the edge. And we're just going to go around and pull it in and put a little bit of glue, because ultimately we are going to stitch around it. And I'm going to use my fabric tack. And it gets a little bit difficult here in these corners, but just try to do the best you can. The back's going to be completely covered up with some cardstock that we'll choose later. But let's see if we can get this, because I've made the girl album and that boy album, and honestly, I don't have a good way to tell you how to do this. A trial and error. But I am going to get rid of some of this overage to about a half an inch. Okay. I'm going to start here and then just wrap it around. Okay, I'm going to try my best to explain it. This fabric, it's not very much of a high quality. As I was trying to pull it up to the corner, the ends started breaking really bad on me. I ended up having to cut another piece. But let's try this. About 1/2 inch. We're going to start from the bottom and cut all the way up through alongside. Now right before you get to this corner, about 1/4 of an inch before that, go ahead and cut in on your fabric. Alright, then we're going to need 1/2 of an inch on this side, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this extra. I'm just going across right here. So we're going to have this, this piece that's going to go across here. Now, what I'm going to do is go also about 1/4 of an inch from the inside up on the little arm, and I'm going to cut. So what you end up with is this little triangle piece. Now I'm going to start gluing the bottom. Probably going to go off camera just a little bit, but what I'm going to do is I'm just running a bead of glue down the edge of the onesie and then start pulling this bottom piece over. I know you can't see me, I apologize for that. I want you to stay zoomed in for this little corner because that thing is a doozy-doo. Alright, now I'm going to grab mine very carefully so it doesn't tear again. I'm going to put some glue on my little triangle piece and then also put some glue on my chipboard, and we're going to take it and I'm going to pull it up over. And I'm going to just hold this in place just a second and I'll get closer and show you when this thing dries. I don't want to move it around too much because there we are. So you see where I'm at? I took that little tiny triangle piece that we cut and folded it over into that bend of the arm. Alright. Then we're going to take our next piece and we're going to cut our fabric. Let me get up here for you. I think that's all I can zoom in. Hey, there we go. Alright, now I'm going to take from the corner of the chipboard of our arm and cut straight down. And I'm just cutting to the chipboard, not going underneath it, just right to the edge of the chipboard. Then I'm going to take my glue, put some on my chipboard, and then take this piece and pull it up also. And then you can look at the other side and just try and pull it and arrange it. And you know what you also want to do? You want to try and, which I forgot, iron out all these squares from where the fabric was folded. Well, let me pause and do that while I wait for this little piece in here to dry before I get too much more glued down, and I will be back. Okay, got my fabric ironed. Alright, Now we have this glued down, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this along the side of the arm to get it closer to about 1/2 of an inch. Okay, now we're going to glue down our corner here. Oh, wrong way. Sorry guys. Okay, so I'm going to take some Fabri-Tac in this little tab here, and then I'm going to run some glue up through this chipboard piece, and I'm going to fold this in, and then at the same time we put a little bit more glue here. At the same time I want to pull it up and go up the side. So we have a little bit of a gather right here. Alright, for the top, I'm trying to stay in camera. I'm going to go ahead and cut all the way across to this corner. And then let me get my big scissors and we'll get some of this excess across the top. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull it up. I'll put a little bit of glue here. I'll cut this little tab. Alright. Put some glue on that fabric piece right there and a little bit across the top. And again, we're going to bunch this and then pull it up at the same time. And I'm just going to hold it for a few minutes. And you want to pull this fairly tight. See your little shirt. Try and get those wrinkles out that we made in that crease in the arm. That is the hardest part of this whole thing to do. And it took me forever to figure out how to get it somewhat done. Okay, now for our curve. We are again going to, let me flip it around. I have my corner here, so I'm going to take my fabric again and cut straight to that corner. So we're going to go ahead and glue this top section down. Just give this a little hold until it stays. Give it a little bit more glue. Now for this corner here, I'm going to cut into the corner like this, but don't cut this piece all the way. Let me show you. This is what it's going to end up doing. It's just going to cover this corner here, like that. And then I'm going to start making cuts towards the circle, and I'm going to go to the chipboard, but I'm not going to go underneath the chipboard. See. So we're going to cut in. And if you want to just watch how this is all done, before you do yours, it might explain. Now I'm back over here to this corner, so I'm going to cut the fabric straight to that corner, but not go underneath it. Okay, so let's start on our other end. So when we pull this one that we made a semi-triangle with, we're going to pull that over. And then these pieces, we're going to put our glue around the neckline and then start pulling these in, trying to keep that fabric tight. I gotta be careful because my fabric tears. Let me cut some of this excess off. Yeah, the next time I do this, I'm definitely going to get a better fabric, because this one every time I try and pull this little sucker, it's wanting to tear. Wipe my fingers off. Should have brought a wet rag. I've got glue everywhere. If y'all have a better way of doing this, please, please, please just message me and let me know. I tried and tried and tried to find videos. Yeah, that didn't work. Now I'm going to cut this. Put down my glue. Oh, you sucker. Let's see. Okay. Now we're back on this arm, and I've got some really close fabric. Like I cut mine down a little bit too small, but we're going to pull it really tight. Okay, so back up on this portion, what we're going to do is, well, mine's already right there. We're going to glue this top section down. Hopefully you have more fabric on this end than I do, and if you do, just cut. Alright, if you have more fabric on your edge than I do, go ahead and take and cut straight to that chipboard. Mine's already really close. Guess I could be using my bone folder for this. I don't want to get so much glue on me. Alright, now we have our little corner again. And mine is already T90. So if you have more fabric than I do, then go ahead and do like the other side and make your cut straight across right here. And then glue over your edges. What I am going to do is go ahead and go down and make my straight cut. So I'm doing this upside down, so hopefully that is straight. And pull all mine down and around. Just like we did on the other side. Man, this fabric is horribly cheap. But we're going to get it done and it's going to be beautiful. Here we are. Alright, now we are back on our other side. Go, whoop, I'm sorry. I need to make a note on that thing, which is in and which one's out. So, same thing, about 1/2 inch. So, we are going to go up. And then I'm going to go in about 1/4 inch. I did it again. Too many crickets. Alright. I'm going to cut in about 1/4 inch from our arm inside there. And go a little bit higher. And then the same thing on this side. Like that. I think I'm going to start with that little corner piece again. Put some glue on the fabric itself so hopefully mine won't come apart. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get my wish. Wow, this stuff. Alright, I'm just going to hold it right here. We're going to do our suspenders. So I'm going to take my fabric and cut out roughly. We're going to start about waist. So I'm going to cut a little bit extra. I'm leaving it a little bit wide on this side. We're going to need a couple of strips for the suspenders. So let me grab my scissors and we'll go ahead and cut that out. Okay, I am going to go ahead and cut this end off here for our suspenders. Let's go ahead and do 1 inch. Let's see. Yeah, that'll just make things a lot easier. I'm being stingy, but I had a lot of other fabric I could cut. Alright, 1 inch wide. This is going to be a lot easier. So fold it in half. Just press down and make a seam down the center, and then fold the left side to that center seam you just made, and then fold your other side to the seam that you just made, and then carefully run your iron across that, and it'll give you a little pretty piece like this. So I'm going to go do both of those and then iron this piece, and I will be back. So I have my pieces ironed, and I went ahead and put some starch on it. Seems to help with that fabric. It doesn't feel quite as thin with the starch. And then I have my 2 little straps. They're not completely widthwise exactly correct, but they will do the trick. Alright, so we are going to start putting his bottom on. We're going to start with folding just a little bit across the top, because we want to make it look like definitely the top of his pants there. And then go ahead and get your sewing machine and just put a stitch just right along the edge, just to keep that down. I guess mine's about a 1/2 inch, because it just depends on where your fabric falls. I'm sorry. Where your fabric falls and how you cut it to make sure that you have enough to fold over the bottom. Okay, just one thing real quick, because I was looking at mine and I really don't have a lot of fabric to flip over. So I am going to just show you, I mean, this stitch is just for appearances only. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you to make it easier on yourself, so you don't have to like stand there and pin it and hold it and everything while you try to stitch it. I'm just barely turning mine over since I cut on my fabric so much. And even if my stitch doesn't catch this back part, it will really be okay. Okay, can y'all see that? So I just took some glue and barely folded over the fabric. And we only care about what it looks like on the front. No one ever is going to see the back. So as long as we keep a nice straight, matter of fact, I have these little dots. I'm going to go straight down those dots and make a stitch, and then that way, now this is glued, it's out of the way, you don't have to fight it when you're trying to put it through the sewing machine. Okay, I have my little stitch here, so we're going to start gluing this down, and then we'll do the rest of our sewing afterwards. Now you can probably see this stitch on mine. I can't remember if I mentioned this one or not, but I was having a crease and I was pulling my fabric down to get rid of the crease. I still have it a little bit here, and then I just put a stitch across it just to keep that fabric down in place so I wouldn't forget about it. Okay, I'm going to put it approximately where I want it to go. Trying to think how. I'm looking at the pattern. I like this little elephant right here, and I didn't want to close him up, but I don't think there's enough. I think for it to look better, I need to go higher. Alright, let's flip them over. I'm just going to have to go by how much I have room on the bottom to pull up and around. And of course we want our breeches to be straight. So I'm going to draw a line from one end to the other. Which I think is about right. So mine's 2.5 inches from this bottom. Well, my template's not straight, so don't go on that, and we'll just eyeball it. I'm going to go ahead and trim down some of this fabric around the sides. Well, I know I just moved them, but get back on there. Just a little bit. Okay, I am going to start on the bottom. Oop. Now hopefully yours is a lot longer than mine. Matter of fact, I'm going to just put some hot glue across my bottom part and get that edge pulled over. So it doesn't move anywhere. That's actually a lot easier than working with that Fabri-Tac. And then for our circle, we're just going to cut in up to the chipboard, but not underneath it. Put one cut there. And I'll put some glue in. Oh, I forgot my bone folder in the other room. I have it soaking in hot water to get all the glue off of it. Let me just use my little Martha Stewart one. So we're gonna pull that up, making our corners as pretty as we can. Just hold that in place for a little while till that glue sets. And on this one, I'm just going to pull a, wow, that's a lot of, I'm going to pull this corner up. Cut this XX off so it doesn't bunch up so much. Keep mindful of your other side that you're not pulling your fabric too tight. Probably could have cut some more off, but I put way too much glue. Yowza. And I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue because we don't want this to move. Alright. Flip it over and see how it's going. Make sure our mark, just go ahead and pull your piece over on your mark. Just take a peek that it looks straight to you. And I think mine's doing pretty good. So I will continue. Pull snugly. don't want this to move. So I'm going to glue him down where it needs to be. Alright, now we want to place our suspenders. We're going to glue them in place and then stitch them afterwards. I found that the easiest. So I'm just eyeballing where I want it to go. Let's see where we're at. Let's go 1.5 inches from the side to your outer part of your strap. Both. Alright, so I'm going to pick up my pants and pull it down to where it can't be seen and just tack a little bit of glue right there. And do the same on this side. Alright, now pick up the pants and the strap and glue it way down where it can't be seen. Same thing on this side. Pick up the pants and the strap, get the glue down where it can't be seen, and push that down. Alright, for the top, a little thread here is annoying me. I think I'm going to do mine about, let's see, I know I want this one there because of that little elephant. So let me put that down and I'll measure it and we'll do these same. Alright, from my top of my curve, I am over 1/2 of an inch. Alright, we have our little suspenders. Now we're going to do some stitching on it. And I have my other little boys album that I want to show you because it's a dark blue. Close my curtains, it's getting dark out. It's a dark blue and it's easier to see, hopefully. Okay, we're going to take and we are going to stitch the outside of both sides of each one of the straps. Okay, now let's see, we already have our top stitch, so we need to run a stitch course ours isn't going to have snaps. We need to run a stitch all the way around, and we need it to meet up with the same stitch that we just did. And just to keep everything in place, make a second stitch underneath that one, and that way the top, both straps, and everything will be completely stitched into your base. So I hope that made sense. The top the top, just stop the stitch at the end. Don't go across, because we're giving the illusion that this strap is going over the shoulder. So just stitch up, stop. Stitch up on the other side and stop. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do mine also. Okay, I have all of my stitching done. Okay, we have our little stitch where we, well, I have all mine. I still have one more stitch to do, but anyway, we have our stitching at the top. My fabric, I went underneath to do the stitchings, but we will glue that down here in a little while. So I went up, I let it just stop, and then the same thing, stop, and then this one also, which I got a little off there, curved in. So what I want to do now is I'm just going to use my hot glue gun, and I'm going to glue this edge down just to get that out of the way. Just not too much. We don't want anybody to see that glue. Or you can use your Fabri-Tac, just whatever. There. Okay. So our last thing that we are going to do is we are going to go down from our stitch here, go down about 1/4 of an inch, and then stitch straight across. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to follow my little line of dots there, and then we'll have a stitch right across there. And before we do that, on your ends, remove that little string. I am going to start inside of this outside seam. I'm not going to go over the edge. I'm going to start from that stitch, that thread, and go inside to this thread. We do not want to go over our edges. What we need to do is find the back, on the back, find your thread, and you're just going to give it a little tug, and you're going to find when you sew, they have one thread and it makes a little loop over the other thread. So what you want to do is find that little loop, put a needle through it, and then pull it out, and that will pull your thread from the front to the back. We can't just cut them off, or eventually these will come unstitched. So just find one, give a little tug, and pull that through from the back. And I just really got lucky on that one. I have no way. Sometimes it takes me forever to do this. So I'm going to my next one, and I'm just going to give it a little tug and find that loop. Yeah, that first one was just, there we go. See, I have my loop, my front thread here, and it's just going to pull that to the back. And we've got to do that on all our stops and starts. And sometimes if you start and stop and they get wound up together and it's hard to find. Like this one I got stitched. Oh my dang. Okay, that was it. Alright, I have one more right here. But don't pull too tight on these. We don't want you to lose all of your stitch. And I've got one that's I don't know what's wrong with this guy. Okay, I have one. I may have stitched over it just way too many times because he will not come out. So in this instant, if you absolutely just cannot get it undone, take your scissors and cut it, and then take some Fabri-Tac glue, and be careful, this stuff comes out a lot. You may even want to put it on the tip of a needle so you don't get glue all over your fabric. And I'm going to put it where I cut that. Do it a little bit more so that stitch doesn't come unwound. Then nobody will see the glue. Alright. So all my stitches are pulled to the back, and I'm going to go ahead and tie everything in knots. And cut the excess. Tell you what, I am going to run some hot glue just to get some of those out of the way. So we don't have strings hanging all over the place. I have to turn my radio on from earlier, and the silence is driving me crazy. I always have to have a TV or something in the background. Put a little hot glue on that strings. Keep them down and out of the way. I know I probably repeat myself so much, and I apologize for that. I tend to get a little elementary, I guess, but I'm just worried that somebody's not going to understand what I'm trying to relate. And I mean, I watched numerous of video tutorials, and sometimes that does happen. So anything that y'all don't understand, please just message me. What I'm doing is, when I do the glue, I'm pushing that glue down the strings to keep them down, and because also I don't want like a big glob of glue later when we come back and cover all this up. I think this might be my last one. I think next we will make our frame. That goes on the front. That's going to cover up some of our beautiful hard stitching we just did. Whoops. There we go. Now we don't have stitches hanging all over, strings hanging all over the place. Isn't he so cute? When we figure out where our frame is going to go, we're going to put some little buttons right there. So let me get that together.